Welcome to something that's not probably being recorded because,
It's definitely not, because I'm not recording and you're not recording and he's not here.
yeah, exactly. So this is us nonsense. But if it is being recorded, hello, internet, and welcome to Mike and Mike in the Morning. That's right. The ESPN show is now on the internet, sponsored by Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu and Hero Club. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing just fine. I can't wait to talk about my favorite Kamen Rider show since never.
I can't wait to talk about my favorite Kamen Rider. Oh, wait, no, it's not.
I mean, your favorite Kamen Rider show is Ryuki, right?
My favorite Heisei Rider show is Ryuki. Every other show ranks above it, but
I love Kuga, but there's another show that goes beyond Kuga.
I do love Kuga too, but I think I like Ryuki more.
Oh, that's fine. I like to make fun of Ryuki, but you know what? I
think
friends.
Kuga's a better show.
Yeah, that's understandable. Like I have a lot of friends that really love Ryuki, and I just like to pick on them because of Ryuki's ending.
I like Ryuki's ending because of how much bullshit all the characters went through. It was kind of nice to give them a happy ending.
I think the only problem I had with that ending essentially was just that Shinji and Ren don't remember each other. But for some reason they put a scene where like they meet each other and there's like, have we met before? And there's like, no.
We're like, this is the 5th ending to the series, so yes, they have met. I do like how episode final and the 13 Riders special are just like alternate endings in the regard of, well, they tried to reset the world and that didn't work out.
Yeah. I like the 13 Rider special just because how Shinji thought his master plan would be, I'm going to destroy this mirror and hopefully things will go right. And then Kanzaki's like, nope.
I also like the fact it has 3 endings.
3 endings is not enough. I need 20 endings, baby. This is a visual novel.
3 endings there, 1 ending with episode final, and 1 episode ending for the TV show. It's a nice little 5.
Yeah. The funny thing about Heisei Kamen Rider, though, is that you know how they have the final forms like King form and Blaster form and Survive form? They all first appeared in their movies.
Oh yeah, that was like the thing before we had like movie exclusive forms. It was just like, here, look, new form.
Our new form's coming. Just be patient, please. Don't hate us. But like, I don't think any form will surpass Ultimate Kuga in terms of like epicness.
That episode is like the most atmospheric thing Ryder's ever done.
Yeah, it's pretty insane that we've gone from that to whatever happened in Build, or what Zio is.
Zio is. I can't believe. I honestly was expecting Zio to be a convoluted mess like Decade, but now I'm like, wow, Decade was really well planned out.
Decade was competent by comparison.
Yeah. Plus, Tsukasa's actually an interesting protagonist.
Zio is just weird because it really is just a shitpost series.
Like, this is the thing, is like I'm watching the series with my mom because like we've been watching since like Double. Like she watched all of Double O's, Forza, Wizard, Gaim Drive, and then Ghost just didn't. Oh god, Ghost just killed that Rider momentum. But then we picked back up and she caught like the last arc of X-Aid, and then she watched Build with me, which also made it kind of fun and easier to watch too.
I think that's why I kept on watching Build, because I was watching it with my friends, and we're just kind of
like you get that community aspect, and then it's like my mom's just like enjoying it for what it is, and I'm just like, well, show us stuff. She's just like, whatever.
I love Showa stuff too. Like I think some of my top writer shows are actually from the Showa era.
But with that all said, we're watching Geo, and she's like, "What happens when they run out of guest stars?" I'm like, "That's my excitement dies."
yeah,
because
that's gonna.
We basically have agreed that like we don't really like Geo, we don't like Gaze, and Tsukiyomi's kind of bland and boring, and nothing else. I'm like, Waz is like boring.
The best part.
Like, it's like none of the new characters are doing anything for either of us. And we're just like, what happens when we run out of guest stars?
What happens when... The only good thing about Zio I can honestly say is like an actual good part is the another writer designs.
Oh, those are beautiful.
It's like fucking fantastic. Do you know who's doing the designs for those monsters?
No.
The guy who did the designs for O's and Agito.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
I like the whole teeth aspect that he gives them, and the like organic technological feel that those another writers have.
I like the eyes.
Yeah, the eyes are the best, are pretty great. Like he made the X8 suit look awesome.
Oh
That's
yeah.
pretty hard to do. But he
Yeah, I'm
made the
looking
X8
forward
suit
to
look like Predator.
like I saw like the preview images for another Forza and was like, oh my god.
Yeah, pretty awesome. But anyway, what really started this entire discussion was that we were talking about Fies, weren't we?
Yeah, and then I just keep looping back to the fact that like I've never like I wanted to I started watching Fies after watching the Yongo special.
Mm.
So I was like, well, I just saw the ending to Fies' story. I better go watch his show, and then it just never happened.
I mean, I can understand that. I don't think Fies is a show that everybody can like. Like I'll be honest about that. I like it for different reasons that other Fies fans probably don't like it, but I can see why people would not like the show.
Not like I hate it. It's just like I just couldn't get into it, and I'm having that trouble with Gridman. Like
Mm.
Wheels keeps wanting me to watch Gridman, and I'm like, I'm 15 episodes in, and I literally couldn't care if all three main characters got shot in the head and were replaced. Like I wouldn't care. I'd
I
actually
can
think it'd be an improvement.
I can also see that. Like there Gridman is also interesting in that I enjoy it for what it is because I enjoy like the computer like sets that they have that make it look like buildings, and that the computer world is basically just circuits and grids that are building like. But yeah, some of the characters, they're probably not for everybody. It's pretty hard to digest them,
It's very
especially
hard that it's just like they're not
compelling.
interesting to me.
Yeah.
And like especially like the lead villain guy, he's the most petty piece of shit I've seen. Like, come on, have better motivations to be evil than oh no, drinking water is not good.
Hey man, drinking water is not good. It kills people every year.
Yeah,
Hydrogen dioxide.
it's just one of those things. It's like I've tried watching it. I gave it a
Dihydrogen.
longer stint than I usually do for shows that I don't like. I enjoy the fight scenes, and I'm probably gonna watch the anime. But yeah, 15 episodes in, and I'm like, I can't keep going.
Nah, that's fair. I think that's fair. I don't
I give
think
it a good shot. I
it's
got a good feeling of what the show is, and I think I'm good. Yeah.
it's the same thing with me with Geed. Like I'm pretty sure Geed is a very fun show for people who like it. I just couldn't get into the show as much, and that's kind of like my problem.
I'm not super big into Ultraman. Like I enjoy watching it. Like I watched X,
From what
and
I've seen of X, I enjoyed it.
yeah, I like X. I'm watching Rube now. When Rube is over, I'll probably go back and watch Orb.
I
Um,
really liked Orb. I liked. There was one episode, maybe one or two episodes I didn't really care for, but I think the rest of Orb was pretty cool, especially when Jugless Juggler finally does stuff.
yeah,
Oh,
and I'm gonna watch the Ultraman anime next year
nice.
because I don't know, like anime adaptations of Toku like really sit well with me. Like the Garo animes are amazing.
Man, I wish I could get into Garo. They just never
It's so
hooked
different
me
than
in.
every other Toku out there because it's basically a J horror show.
I don't think it's that it's a J horror show that bothers me. I think it's just how Amamiya approaches the show that kind of just irks
It's
me.
Amamiya J horror, and then it
Like
happens.
I like Amamiya's stuff. It's just that when it comes to Garo, I feel like he takes stuff away that he wouldn't really do for other shows, and that makes me kind of go, "Why are you doing this?" Like I don't really care for the actors in Garo. I think that's why I could never really get into the show.
That makes sense.
Because as soon as I hear them like start trying to portray their characters, I kind of
And a lot of
lose
the
focus.
fanfics are like their characters are the fact that they're supposed to be cold and emotionless because they just have their duty to fulfill. And then that
Yeah,
leads to some of the actors not able to pull it off. I think like one of the best ones is Zero. Like Zero, like Ray Fujita is like a really impressive actor, and he doesn't get that much screen time in the first series. But then like they gave him his own like he gave him two spin-off shows. And his
that's
second show was like the best Toku I have probably ever seen in my life.
damn.
And I'm not saying that lightly. Like it was like the storyline was well planned out. The characters all contributed to the story. Every character had a story arc. The action was amazing. The CG wasn't distracting and actually melded with the environment. The cinematography provided unique, interesting takes on the fight scenes. And at 13 episodes, it was nice and concise.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So
like
like what?
the thing is though, at the same time, watching it as a like just watching Zero Dragon Blood by itself, you lose some of the meaning of where Zero has been before and where like Rekka came from, and so you have characters there. It's like, okay, well, why is this character important? Well, this was already established in this previous thing.
That could get annoying for some people, I think.
Yeah, and
I think that's my problem with like what writers doing now with like the whole net movies connecting to their series. It's like, why the fuck are you doing this? Why can't you just tell us in the show? Assholes.
Right, and like it's not like they don't have time.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they have time. They drag out everything.
Right, it's like basically they take. This has been a problem since Gaim, except Gaim never got the supplementary material. It's like they just decided, let's just take all the character backstories, condense them into one sentence, and then just pull them out of the show. And now they're pulling them out of the show and putting them in spin-off shows.
Yeah.
Which is fine, I guess, but like taking a page from Garo, like the spin-offs with Zero are new stories that take place after like the other shows he was in, and it's like, well, here's just his continuing adventures.
It's not like
here's his backstory.
It's funny that you mentioned Ray Fujita because he's also in Faiz, and he's the character I hate the most in Faiz.
Oh yeah.
Dragon Orphanox sucks a dick. I
think that's why they made his second show Zero Dragon Blood.
I really just hate Kitazaki because I don't think he fits Faiz whatsoever, at least what the Faiz that Inoue was aiming for. It feels like Kitazaki fits the Faiz that Shirakura was going for me.
Yeah, definitely. Something
because
else.
of how he treats everything like a game, and then he becomes Delta for like a couple of episodes just to fuck with everybody. And then gives it up. He's like, I don't want this Delta belt anymore. I don't want to walk the talkie.
That's the problem I think with Faiz too, is that like having a rider belt doesn't make anybody special. Because they're just passed around so much. Like,
I feel like they do try to do that, but it only works with like Faiz. Like Faiz belt, because when Keitaro uses it and Kaido uses it, they really try to differentiate like difference between those two guys, or like Kiba when he uses it and Takumi using it, and why Takumi is like the one guy you could trust with the Faiz belt.
Yeah.
And, like, the weird thing about me rewatching Faiz was that I actually grew to like Takumi way more than I really should, than I initially did.
I definitely like Takumi from like seeing him in supplementary movies that he's been in like recently. Like I love this whole arc in Kamen Rider Tyson with Jin Keisuke, Kamen Rider X.
Oh yeah, that stuff was pretty cool.
That was some pretty good stuff, and I actually that was probably one of the highlights of that movie for me.
Like the only problem I had with that part of the movie was that his sympathy or his depression was caused by Kusaka.
And his reshot death scene.
Yeah.
Because new timeline, I guess.
Yeah, new timeline. Faiz didn't happen like the way you remembered, kids. Kusaka was his best friend. The weird thing is that Kusaka, like, Takumi didn't even really hate Kusaka. He just pitied the poor guy. And that's why Kusaka hates his guts so much. It's because Takumi just pities him.
But I think it was nice because, like, with Kamen Rider Tyson, it gave, like Jin Keisuke and Takumi, like, kind of more conclusive endings to their character arcs. Because both of them had shows that didn't, like Takumi's arc didn't really get finished in Faiz, from what I understand.
Yeah,
like he had like more of an open ending, and definitely X got cut short. It was only 35 episodes.
Yeah, like the way that Takumi kind of ends in Faiz is that, spoiler alert to you and to anybody who's listening to this, if they ever do listen to this, is that when Kiba,
I'm probably never gonna watch Faiz.
Is that when Kiba like turns to the dark side, when he like gets fully corrupted by his nature, Takumi beats him in combat, like, and instead of like killing Kiba, he just kind of lets him live. And when Kiba's like begging him to like answer like what's the purpose of like living, and why do you even fight the way that the reason that you do for humanity when they suck, and Takumi just kind of like shrugs it off, because like he doesn't know the answer about why he does the thing that he does, or why people are the way they are. It's just, the nature of the beast that is life. And so that's how he just approaches things. He's just going to approach it as, I can't control what everybody does. I can't control what they do. I'm just going to try to live the life that I can and try to protect the people that I can.
Yeah, and it's really open in that way.
Yeah, because he's also dying because he's an Orphanok, and the whole Orphanok thing is that the Orphanoks are dying.
Yeah, I did like that the Yongo special actually gave him an ending.
The funny thing is that I think the King Orphanok, the ending of Faiz kind of sucks because it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But the idea that Takumi has to kill a kid who's the King Orphanok seems rather amusing to me.
You should see the stuff Showa writers did on a weekly basis.
I know, right? But the funny thing is, Kusaku would have killed that kid no chill about it. Like,
Yeah.
he even called Mari saying, hey, where's that kid? I'm going to kill him. Well, he didn't say that, but he's like, hey, do you know where that kid is? Because he was going to kill him.
Oh yeah, and that's like something that like people think that the Showa era is like incredibly silly because like monsters make goofy noises. I'm like, you know what? These monsters didn't make goofy noises. That's what you get with Amazons, where they're just like horrible serial killers and they're terrifying. Like they take the edge off by making them like slightly goofy in their vocal performances. But like the stuff that those monsters do on a weekly basis is like
terrifying.
It is terrifying.
But Kamen Rider in the Showa era was really like children horror, a children's horror show with superhero aspects, which I really enjoy, which is why I like the Showa era a lot.
I really do, and I'm like, we're so close to having all the Showa series subbed.
Yeah, it's pretty.
We're down to X and Skyrider, and X is being consistently worked on, and no one's updated its Skyrider subs in like 2 years.
Hey, that Skyrider theme though is pretty. The first one at least is pretty boss.
It is. I'm hoping that somebody just like comes and like Super One and like Five Man and like Kamen and Rider One and like it was Black RX or like some of these like there was one fan subgroup that would just like they don't do anything for months and then suddenly they're just like
pop out of nowhere
10 episode batches like back to back for shows and I'm like, whoa, where'd these come from? I'm happy.
Nice.
Like nice.
That's pretty great.
Like it happened with Five Man. Like, you know, Five Man had like I think 13 episodes subbed for the longest time. And then this group showed up and they just like, here's 14 through 30, here's 30 to 40, here's 40 to 50. There you go. And it was like in a week. And I was like, whoa. I like that.
That's pretty cool.
Nothing beats the overnight subs for Rider 1. Someone just was like dumped a 98 episode batch torrent up on AniDex. And it appeared overnight and it just had everything. And I was like, this is amazing. Why are subgroups just like I feel like they were working on it for months and then just held it all back to release it at once instead of this kind of gradual thing most subgroups do, which always just leaves us with, okay, well, you did 36 episodes of Dynaman. Where's the rest? Oh, the subgroups.
You don't get them.
Gone? Okay. Why did I bother downloading these?
Oh, man. What are your favorite Rider shows? Like your top 5, I guess?
V3 is number 1.
V3's I love V3 a lot. It's so good.
I went as far to buy that show on DVD.
Nice. I should really do that, but I'm like a cheap bastard also.
$150. Like hard to recommend, but like the bonus content on those discs is amazing. Like there's an essay for every episode.
Yeah, I love V3 so much. It's so good.
It's great. Number 2 is probably Amazon.
Amazon I find entertaining. I know a lot of people, there are some people who don't like it, and I can understand that mindset. It's very weird.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's a bizarre entry in the show era, but I think that's why I enjoy it.
Yeah, I definitely like it for being bizarre.
And it was like really the start of like the mystical type of Rider.
Yeah, that's very true. I'd put number 3 probably Amazon season 1.
Oh yeah.
I really liked Amazon season 1. I thought that was like, it was kind of like, I thought the premise of like, it was kind of like what I was missing from like other writers, like Heisei Rider shows for so long where I was like, where I felt like Heisei Rider was like losing its edge and like Amazon's like, it went like hardcore, but not as like over, like season 2 went overboard.
Is season 2 better than season 1 for you?
No. I definitely think Amazon season 1 was better. I did not hate season 2 like a lot of people did, but I also think they just kind of like went balls to the wall and they kind of failed. But I thought season 1 was really well done. It was kind of like, well, what if Rider had kept kind of going on its like evolved path of developing deeper stories and characters and kind of going darker with its storytelling, and then it's like, well, here it is, now, and I'm like, I like this. It's like the early Heisei stuff, like from Kugagi to Ryuki Fives, but like not with the regression that happened with Blade.
Well, yeah,
So that
Blade,
kind of,
the comedy of errors.
yeah, and so like I did enjoy like Amazon's in that regard. And I thought it was really cool that we got some like more sophisticated storytelling methods and more no toy shilling for one, shorter episode count, tighter story and characters. Season 2 was like the same amount of episodes, but it feels like they just tried to do way too much in it. I'm really mad about how they cut the final fight from season 2 of Amazon's. That really bothers me.
I wish I didn't see season 2 because I think I didn't really care for season 1 that much. I couldn't really. I guess it's like the same way that you looked at Fies is how I watched Amazon. So
Amazon season 1 gives me a Garo vibe.
and I think that's why it didn't really appeal to me.
Yeah, it's just like it's that type of show. But with season 2, it built up that like Amazon Alpha, Amazon Neo, Amazon Omega were all gonna like eventually have to collide and fight each other for the death, right? And so they like show the beginning shot of the fight, and their arms all go into the middle of like this thing, and they all clash, and then it cuts away to the end of the fight with whoever won, but doesn't actually show the fight. And I'm still pissed about that.
Didn't Amazon's have a movie too? Or
It did have a movie. It's still not out on Blu-ray. It's not coming out until like October.
Okay.
So like I haven't seen it yet. But apparently, according to people that saw it in Japan, the movie opens with that fight we didn't get at the end of the show. Which, I mean, if that's the case, okay, I'm gonna forgive that now. But I'm looking forward to seeing that movie. I'm really curious to see also how Neo Alpha is, considering I ordered this figure art.
Nice.
Amazon's figure arts got so nasty on the aftermarket for the exclusives that I was like, well, I'm just gonna order it. Worst case scenario, he sucks, and then I just got to figure. I don't know. It's Kawaga Rider, so it's not that bad, I guess.
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
Anyways, where was that? That was like number 3.
Yeah, you're at number 3.
I think I'd probably put 4. That's a tough one. I gotta think. Maybe Stronger at number 4.
Oh yeah, I like Shigeru Joe.
Either Stronger or Super 1.
Ah, okay.
That
Why
one's a
Super
bit of
1?
a toss-up. And then number 5 is Ryuki, because favorite Heisei shows, so it's gonna be right there. It's weird. I don't consider Amazon's Heisei. I kind of consider its own thing.
It's own thing.
Yeah. That's kind of I think where I sit with the top 5. Just where I'm at. It's kind of where I'm at with the writer. Like, I'm really hardcore about the Showa stuff, and I'm pretty like kind of casual with the Heisei stuff. Me and Super Sentai though, I'll just watch anything. My top 5 favorite Sentai changes depending on what hour you ask me.
Nice.
Because I can never narrow it down to 5. And I can never decide if I like Live Man or Gao Ranger more. It depends on how I'm feeling or what song I heard last.
Nice.
Gao Ranger's soundtrack elevates that show so high for me that it's kind of ridiculous. But Live Man is probably like one of the I feel like Live Man's the turning point for Sentai, where we went from kind of like the experimental Showa era to the more solid, like, this is what Sentai is going to be for the rest of its life. Like, that was the pivotal show. Because I watch that show now and I'm like, okay, it's been 30 years, but look, it's got all the same tropes we're using today. But like all the good, like there wasn't like, I don't know, there wasn't like a bad episode of Live Man, to be honest.
I think there were some, but I really enjoy Live Man.
By a monster, and yet they still made that episode really sincere and worth it.
I think my top 5 rider shows are Kuga, Black, V3. Like, those are like my top ones. I can't decide. It depends on the day.
Yeah. I find that a lot with Toku because I like different shows for different reasons.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Akito. I enjoyed like the entire, like, for a show that, depending on its mysteries, I never felt like the mystery defined the show. It was just an aspect of the show.
Yeah, that's good because like when a mystery is the show and then the mystery doesn't pay off, then you feel unsatisfied.
Then you get billed.
Not wrong.
Because like there were so many other aspects to Agito that they were interested in, like the whole idea that Shuichi doesn't really know what he's doing half the time. It's just like it's a compulsion to fight the lords.
Yeah.
The Overlord of Darkness just wandering around in the streets. Why are certain people getting killed in these certain ways? There's Mana. There's the Akatsuki Go incident. There's Gills. There's G3. Like, there's so many things going on that it's amazing that somehow Inoue manages to pull it all off. But sadly, I think it's because of Agito that Faiz turns out the way it does, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Because like Faiz,
that's like it's like a trickle down effect with Heisei.
yeah. Because like with Faiz, their Akatsuki Go incident is basically the Ryusei school, which in itself was already a convoluted plot. Because like at first, everybody wants to know, even the smart brain wants to know what the fuck the Ryusei school thing is. But then like a couple episodes later, when they reveal what the Ryusei school is and what happened at the Ryusei school, suddenly smart brain knew all along what it was, and I'm like, what? How? When? Why? This makes no sense.
I'm looking at Inoue's resume right now.
Oh man.
I like a lot of this. I like some of the stuff he's done. You know.
I love Inoue, man. He's great.
Like I like Jetman. He did 5 episodes of 5-Man. I love 5-Man. 5-Man's like my like weird guilty pleasure Sentai that like I shouldn't love as much as I do.
Nice. I know people who do like 5-Man in the same way.
The toys are garbage, which is good because they're also the cheapest pre-Power Ranger Sentai toys. I got both changers for like less than 60 shipped. In box. Brand new.
That's pretty impressive.
For stuff from like 1990.
Jeez.
One of them came with batteries too, which was handy because they take N-size batteries. So I had to like buy special batteries for them. But
okay.
But like anyway, I worked on like Flashman, Maskman, Liveman, Turbo Ranger, 5-Man, Jetman, G Ranger, Die Ranger, O Ranger, Time Ranger. Doing like a few episodes for each of those, and then being head writer for Jetman.
Yeah.
So
he did the Mask X1 for Maskman. That episode, which was pretty awesome. He also did the Jin episodes in Die Ranger.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Which people will never acknowledge, which is amazing. I look at Toku Twitter, and every time they diss Inoue, for some reason, they always seem to forget that he did stuff that they like.
Selective memories.
Yeah, like Kobayashi gets a pass, but Inoue doesn't.
The Kiva. Cutie Hand Alive.
Oh yeah, Cutie Honey Alive, everybody's favorite.
I like how he wrote the Jetman episode of Gokaiger.
Oh yeah, he specifically came back for that one, and it's the best episode of Gokaiger.
Okay, he did the Hokkaido movie, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he did episode final for Ryuki.
He did a lot of the Heisei movies. He did like
Paradise Lost, Missing 8. I've actually seen all the Heisei movies, despite not having watched all the shows. I do like Paradise Lost for being this weird, twisted, grim, dark thing.
Oh man, Paradise Lost is also another show about another movie that I like more than I should.
Yeah.
It's like it all went wrong with my Fives rewatch. Like I like Fives a lot, and I like Paradise Lost a lot. I like how like the show is introduced, like the opening of the movie is this introduction of like Kusaka being the Kamen Rider, but all the people are running away from him because he's the Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is an Orphanok, and the Kamen Rider is the monster now. It's great.
Missing Ace was a movie I really enjoyed.
Missing Ace was amusing. I find it amusing just because Tachibana still is Tachibana, the idiot supreme that he is.
Hibiki and the Seven Senki was like a movie that I didn't think was that great, but Kabuki was so like amusing to watch.
Nice.
It made it worth it for me just to watch Kamen Rider Kabuki.
I like watching a Seven Samurai remake with Kamen Rider.
Yeah, that's basically what it is too. Kamen Rider the First was a movie I really liked, and Kamen Rider the Next was a movie I really hate.
Kamen Rider the Next was the mistake.
It was, and I hate what it did with V3.
Yes.
And I hate what it did. It got like incredibly like gross out J horror violent. I mean, in comparison to like Amazon Season 2, it's really nothing. But I just thought it was like a really weird direction to go.
I didn't like what they did with V3 because it made him like more of a scumbag than he really is.
Yeah, and it's like my favorite Kamen Rider is V3, and I don't like when they mess with him.
Yeah.
Kiba, King of the Castle in the Demon World. I enjoy that one scene where the two Ixa assistants get to Henshin together. That
And
was
Kiba just feels like a mess to me,
like
like the entire series.
yeah, no, and it's part of that problem is the time travel.
The time travel and that I feel like Kiba is just the series where Inoue just didn't give a fuck about making a good show.
The second that Geo announced that it was going to have time travel, I was like, oh, Kiba 2.0, and I'm not really too far off from that yet.
Because like Kiba should have been a good show. It has like all the aspects to be a good Kamen Rider show, like the horror theme, the Fangires being like these monsters that eat people or eat their reflections, but whatever.
Yeah, I definitely was more engaged in the 1986 story than the 2008 story.
But I think the problem was that the time travel was one thing, but like I just hated everybody in the show.
That's where I'm at with Geo right now. My favorite characters are Sento, Ryuga, Emu, and Hiro. Problem is, they're all guest stars in their previous characters.
Exactly.
I think it was like one of the episodes of Zio that recently like pissed me off was Gaze, where he was just like, "Oh, you just still build powers because you're going to become evil," and I'm like, "Bitch, where'd you get Ghost and Drive's powers
I
from?"
know that's what I said in the exact same thing. Like I was watching that episode. Wait a minute. You have ghost powers. What did you do with ghost, you asshole?
And then like later in the episode, he uses Drive. I'm like, "Where'd you get that one?"
Where'd you get that one, man? Kind of dropped the ball on that one, didn't you?
Don't complain about someone doing what you're doing. Also, yeah, Inoue wrote the bad part of Movie War Core.
Oh yeah, everybody's least favorite part.
The O's part that completely ignores the continuity of the series.
I mean, at that point, like, who cares?
Yeah,
Because like the O series is way different than how like Double presented O's, so you might as well just change it up a bit, I guess.
I did like the skull portion of that. That was like amazing.
Oh, the skull portion of Movie War Core is the only portion you should watch.
Exactly. Just cut it off after that part's over.
Yeah, just end it there. Be happy that you've seen it. And that's
then,
fun. That's oddly enough Toku's only good suit acting role.
Yeah.
Kind of amusing.
Kamen Rider 1. That was a great movie.
Yeah, I like that one. The fact that it made Ghost cool as well was awesome.
Yeah,
like the Kamen Rider 1 movie felt like a love letter to just all the generations of Kamen Rider. Like it wasn't perfect, but I feel like as a love letter to like Heisei and Showa, it gets the job done.
It really did. And I have like this weird perception of Ghost being a cool character because I've never seen his show and I've just watched the movies.
The funny thing is, like, I know hating on Ghost is like the popular thing, but I don't really hate Ghost that much. Like I've seen some of his episodes, and some of his episodes were all right. I like the episode where Spectre appears and just kicks Ghost's ass. Like he gets his ass handed to him by the secondary rider. It's amusing. But like I think Ghost has suffered from the problems that every rider show really suffers from, is just the inconsistencies and not really knowing what to do with your story afterwards. Because like the first arc ends with like the icons granting a wish, but then there's still like 38 episodes you still gotta tell. So what are you gonna do now?
I ended up dying 9 times.
Yeah, but I don't think Ghost is awful. I think there's other awful, worse shows out there for Kamen Rider. I think the problem with Ghost is that for some people it was boring, and because it's boring.
Ghost recently.
Huh?
I've seen a lot of love for Ghost recently.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you that I have like Ghost, Drive, Build, and Gaim like ranked together, and it's just by way of existing because I didn't like shows before them.
Right.
But like, I can see why you can like those shows or hate those shows. They're just shows that just seem kind of meh, average.
I liked Wizard a lot, even though that's like a very meh show.
See, I like Wizard's aesthetic. Like, I enjoy like the choreography and fighting and the way.
His suit design was so good for like giving us like a variety of fight scenes.
Yeah, like I like his suit design. I thought some of the action early on was good. I think it's the same thing that happened with Build. Is like Wizard was left to die, sadly, for Gaim's sake.
Yeah.
And like you start to notice that the action in the show kind of deteriorates and becomes kind of basic bitch.
Yeah, definitely. And part of my thing too is that like I don't know what it is, but like Gaim was a show I really liked and watched and bought toys for. But nowadays, like, I don't know what it was about the ending of Gain that rubbed me the wrong way, but it really just kind of ruined the whole show for me.
I'm just kind of the same way, but my problem was that I didn't really like Kaito to begin with, and that the fact that
the ending for me,
and the fact that Kaito just becomes an overlord just kind of bugged me, because like throughout the entire series they're trying to give him like this thing where he could go one way or the other, and that maybe, just maybe, he's changing. But ultimately, he just makes the same basic decision that he would have made in the beginning. He doesn't change. He's the same banana man that he was going in.
We did have our longest run on a female writer, though.
Oh yeah, Maliko's great.
Yeah, she was amazing. No, my problem at the ending was that Kota took the golden fruit.
Oh yeah. See, that's another thing I also hated.
That wrecked it, because I was like, it was building up a whole thing where he was like
rebelling against it. Yeah, against.
And then at the end, he just takes it, and I'm like,
why?
Why? You've been going against everything this whole time.
You were trying to rebel against this whole fruit war, so why are you doing it now?
You just let them win?
Yeah, like I feel like he should have just like he gets handed the apple by Sagara, and then he just punches Sagara in the face. It's like,
or just crush the apple.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to take your power.
And so now every time I see Gaim where they show him as like Fruit Jesus, I'm like,
that shouldn't be your ending.
Like that, I'm like I get annoyed, because it's like every time I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Like, I get that Gaim was influenced by Kamen Rider Black, but Jesus, even Kamen Rider Black was able to rebel in the end.
Right?
Like, the Century King's like, oh, you can have my power, and if you don't take my power, then I'm just going to blow up the world. And Kamen Rider Black is like, bitch, please, I'll take your sword, but I'm going to kill you with it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how you end the show. You have him get killed. But it's like, the cost of him using that sword and just everything that's happened is like Kotaro goes through like the major depression of like, shit. Like, his ending kind of sucks. It's on the same level as like Godai's ending.
Yeah, that last episode of Kuga where they're like, there's like the episode before the ultimate fight where he's just like going around and talking to everybody, and then the last episode like mirrors that with Ichijo going around and talking to everybody.
Yeah.
And it just like, it leaves you hanging like, is Godai dead?
Yeah, is Godai dead? And it's like, well, he's not dead on the outside.
Right.
Like, my favorite episode of Kuga, one of my favorite episodes of Kuga is the episode where he kills the porcupine Gronki in the most brutal way possible.
Oh my god, that is like one of those like that is one of those iconic moments in Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Of just like, oh my god, that is like such a insane scene.
Because it's like, we all been through that situation where like the stress of like what we're doing and how we're living our life and just how,
and just what that Grongi did to people.
Yeah, like he made them suffer, and if they committed suicide, he didn't count them.
Yeah.
And it's just like he just does it to more people. It's like, what the fuck, man? Fucking
yeah, and that's where it was like, that's what pushed Godai, and that's what started pushing him towards Ultimate in the darkness.
Yeah. Like, I like the scene where he like stabs him, and then he does all the like blade movements, but he doesn't have the sword in his hand. It's just Ultimate form doing it, and you're just like, what the fuck is that? It's so well done.
No, it's crazy too, because like I'm thinking back on it, like, well, one of the themes in the Showa writer era was that they always were like born to be evil, but then they, changed their destiny to become a hero.
Yeah.
And that's something that the Heisei writers try to do, and I think Build actually did that pretty good.
Mm.
That was one of those things that did harken back to that Showa idea of, well, he was supposed to be the evil bastard scientist, but look at this, he actually overcame that to become a hero.
Yeah, like I said, that aspect
bugged me about the ending to Gaim, because he didn't overcome like what he was supposed to do. He gave in. He became Anakin.
Yeah. He was supposed to rebel against the fruit, not join it. So anyway, episode 8 of Faiz. The entire podcast is about that one. Just kidding.
Just that one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Faiz might be something I get back to one day.
I mean, if you don't like Faiz, I can totally understand it. Like, I can get why people would not like Faiz.
The melodrama. I don't like shows that like to delve into melodrama a lot.
Yeah, see, that's kind of like what Fies does though. It's like it deals with like the ordinary lives of people, and I can see why that wouldn't like appeal to people.
Yeah, that's one of its things too. And then it's like that's another thing that pushes people away from like Amazon's Zingaro is because it's like a different filmmaking type.
I think the thing with me with Fies is that I kind of enjoy the ambition that he was trying to go for, where his story was about this supposed to be like this 50s episode story arc of just nonstop like action, where like Kiba is supposed to be the monster, but he's a good monster.
Yeah.
And that he doesn't wear the hero suit. He doesn't look like a Kamen Rider, but he essentially is a Kamen Rider. He's trying to rebel against Smart Brain's ideals. He is a monster through and through. His life has changed. His life got totally fucked over, but he's trying to do his best to do the best for humanity. And hopefully that one day Orthodox and humans can live together. Then you have Kusaka, who is the complete opposite, who's like, fuck Orthodox, I want to kill them all. I have to kill them all because that's my mission. And then you have Takumi, who's just in the middle of it all, and he just doesn't know what to do half the time. And I can understand like how that indecisiveness could be annoying at times, but then when he does do something cool, when Takumi does something cool, you really feel it. Like episode 17 is where he starts doubting himself about fighting the Orthodox because he sees them as humans too. But he sees how people are still dying because this Orphanok goes berserk. Because the Orphanok that went berserk because he was trying to look for his little sister's killer, who, spoiler, was Kiba. But every time he would talk to somebody, someone would like make a comment about his sister, and he would just kill them because he was just getting so frustrated at just not having answers, and that any little comment made about his sister would set him off. So Takumi just took it upon himself to go like, okay, I get it. I can't sit around doing nothing. Fighting is still probably pretty bad, but you know what? If it's a sin, so be it. I'll be a sinner. So he fights the Orphanok. And it's like a cool moment because the opening plays and he's fighting two Orphanoks at once. Pretty awesome.
It does sound pretty cool. Like I said, I might get back to it one day. It's gonna be like one of those weird moments.
I mean, yeah, it was totally a weird moment for me. Like initially with Fies, I was just kind of like, meh, was it? I was watching Build and I was just like, I'm okay with Build, but it just feels like it's missing something that early Heisei had. Like there was like a dirtiness that early Heisei had that I was missing.
Yeah, no, there's definitely Heisei Rider is definitely different than Showa Rider, and early Heisei is so much different than present Heisei.
Yeah. So like when I was rewatching Fies, I was like, for some reason I'm not bothered by the stuff that Fies was doing, and I was like enjoying a lot of it. Like episode 8, the one that you were trying to get on, it has one of my favorite like moments in the series. It's where Takumi is Orphanok is hunting down Mari, and on the other side where Kiba is, there's a professor who ruined Kaido's life. He's the one that caused Kaido's hand to get crushed, which is why he can't play guitar anymore.
Oh.
And Kiba takes it upon himself to punish that Orphanok, while Takumi goes along and fights that Orphanok. And while they're both interacting with these two Orphanoks, Kaido is actually playing the guitar for a song, and it's a really cool song. And as that guitar song is playing, Takumi and Kiba are having their little interactions with the Orphanok, where Takumi's like, I may not have a dream, but I can protect other people's dreams. Because the episode was diving into Mari's dream of being like a hairstylist.
Right.
And in the other side, Kiba learned from Kaido that dreams seem like a curse. Because if you can't succeed in your dreams, then you're burdened by that failure. And he tells that professor those words, and that's why he must be punished, because he prevented Kaido's dream from being succeeding. You cursed this man to be what he can't be. And so Kiba kicks that Orphanok's ass, and then Takumi kicks the other Orphanok's ass, and it's pretty awesome. And it's just kind of like those little dynamics where Kiba is more about punishment and dealing with these sinners that are the Orphanoks, and Takumi is all about protecting people and fighting for their sake.
It does sound like there's a lot of interesting like character dynamics and plot threads in the show.
But that's the problem that happens later on. Kiba gets into the background too much that you kind of miss him. But it does. Faiz does have one of the funniest moments in Rider where Kaiksa just throws his Oxel bracer. He's just like, "Here, have your toy."
Oh, yeah, I've seen the gif of that.
Yeah, it just hits him in the face, and he's like, "Use that." And then Kusaka just drives away like it was nothing because he just doesn't give a shit about Takumi. Like, the funny thing about Faiz is that I don't think it takes its toys too seriously because the final form, the blaster form, you know how they get that final form?
How do they do it?
Via the mail.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like, some guy's like, here, you got a package, and they hand it to Mari, and then it's like, what is it? Oh, it's the blaster, the Faiz blaster.
That's hilarious.
It's pretty great. But yeah, if you ever do, like, want to watch Faiz, I mean, you can tell me how you feel. If you don't like it, I get it. If you do like it, that'd be cool.
Any Toku I give up on, I always like to give it a second chance.
Any Toku.
Because,
What's...
like, I gave, what was it? I gave Ryuki a second chance, and boom, now it's one of my favorite Rider shows of all time.
Nice. You know, there was a Rider show that I gave too many chances to, and I still don't like it.
Which one's that?
Kabuto.
Oh, yeah. I watched Kabuto's movie, and I was like, I'm not really gonna. And then I watched 2 episodes of the English dub.
Oh, no.
And I was like, yeah, wow. The dub's not killing me, it's killing the show right now. It's the writing.
Like, I watched that show, like, more than, I want to say 3 times. Like, try to watch the entire show, like, more than 3 times. Because I kept on hearing people, like, this is, like, early HJU years. Like, people kept on telling me that the show was great, but I could just never get into it. I was just so annoyed by, like, everybody. Every character was annoying me. Every writing aspect was annoying me. And, like, the stuff that was supposed to be cool kind of dies out, like, later on. That you're just like, oh, okay.
Like, that's kind of what I get with Gridman. But yeah, no, Toku-wise, I'm way more involved with Garo now than Rider. You know, it's just Garo hits all the right notes for me, I guess.
That's fair.
And so I've binged a bunch of stuff.
At least we have Sentai still.
Sentai, that's the thing. You watch Go Ranger and you watch Lupat, and you're like, this is the same series 42 seasons later. You watch Kamen Rider 1 and you watch Build, and it's like, this isn't even the same show anymore.
Yeah. I think what helped Sentai was that Jaka and Go Ranger were really the Ishinomori shows, but then afterwards, when Marvel got involved, we have Battle Fever J and Denji Man.
Battle Fever J, aka the Dancing Racist Sentai.
Hey, the best Dancing Racist Sentai.
Exactly. But yeah, like, once you get to, like, the development of, like, when, like, Marvel is in, and then, like, Toei takes over, and then it's just like...
I think it's because that Sentai just had so many creators that were taking this concept of, like, multiple heroes and then really just pushing the envelope with them.
What? Haburo Sate is not just one person that's been producing the show for 42 years, and it's a rotating group of people? Oh, what?
No, it's the other way around. Hatay Saburo did everything. Please don't erase us.
He was the villain of Akiba Ranger.
Yeah, I love that aspect of Akiba Ranger.
It's one of the greatest things that show did.
Yeah. It's just like, who's our main villain? Hatay Saburo. Oh. And our entire plot is just making sure our show doesn't get canceled.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, you get the different kind of people in Sentai without them, but they don't ever come in being like, well, I want to make Sentai different. Like, it's just going to be my version of Sentai. It's like, no, I'm going to go make a Sentai show.
I mean, writers do that, but they always kind of respect the material.
And, like, the producers especially help guide that. Especially on a TV show, the producers are, like, the guiding light.
Yeah, like, Takatero, the guy who did Kuga, did Car Ranger, Mega Ranger, and Ginga Man.
3 amazing shows.
Yeah. But they're similar, but they're also very different.
Yeah. For me, it's like, there's only a handful of Sentai I don't like.
Yeah, like, the weird thing is with Sentai is, like, there's not a lot of shows that I would say I hate.
I don't like Goggle 5, but admittedly I haven't watched it in full. I just don't like the suit designs.
Goggle 5 is interesting.
I have tried 3 times to watch Jew Ranger. I never get past episode 5 because I bought the DVD set and the first disc ends at episode 5, and I haven't gotten to the motivation of putting the next disc in.
Oh no.
I don't like O-Ranger. I finished O-Ranger.
Olay, my friend.
I think what killed that show for me was that the main 5 O-Rangers had 0 personalities or backstories or any kind of character arc.
Yeah, that's certainly something.
I liked Riki. Riki was a great new addition that only got to be in the show briefly because he was a kid, so they had like restrictions on when he could be in. And then of course the Chief was great because it was V3.
Yeah, everybody loves V3.
Plus he got to do a Zubat homage in the O-Ranger versus Cock Ranger movie.
Yeah.
And then the next show I dislike is Ninja.
Manager was a tough one for me.
I haven't finished it. I'm gonna get to that.
Like, I think the thing about Ninja was that I just didn't like anything about it. Like, I like the suits and I like some of the designs, but other than that, like, a lot of the show just seemed too boring to really invest my time into.
Yeah, I've seen like 4 episodes of Ninja in total. The first one, the last one, the Jiraiya episode, and the Ninja Team Up episode.
Oh man, I hate the Jiraiya episode so much.
I need to see the Power Rangers version.
Oh no.
The fact that Power Rangers now has Jiraiya, I'm like, what the hell is even going on now?
Like, I think the reason I hate the Jiraiya episode is that it takes everything about Jiraiya, but doesn't do anything about Jiraiya. Like, like all the ninja stunts and ninja choreography that Jiraiya had in its series is completely replaced by green screen.
I think it's like part of
CGI.
like, the thing I had an issue with him being in like Key Ranger vs. Space Squad, where he was just kind of sort of there-ish.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I'm excited for the next Space Squad movie though, because it's Seed Draft. Or no, not Wake Seed Draft, Winspector.
Inspector.
I like freaked out at the in credits thing of Winspector. My parents were like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Hang on."
Hang on, let me show you. Let me show you how it is, baby. We Inspector. We Inspector.
That Twitter episode of our podcast.
Yeah. See, this entire recording is just like multiple episodes for everybody.
I mean, really, we could just splice this up to like a show for a year now.
Yeah.
We could be like Kamen Rider and drag it out way too long.
Exactly. Our entire podcast narrative is just 50 episodes long.
Here, I'll do a generic outro. Stay tuned for our next episode that'll be uploaded at undisclosed date, and we'll be talking about undisclosed topic.
Enjoy!
Hooray!
Generic high five!